Imagine this, you pay your property taxes every year and you think everything is fine. And then you go to sell your home and find out that you've been paying too much in taxes for years and that you can't get any of that extra money back. Well, that's exactly what a retired couple in Cabarrus County told our Nate Morabito happened to them. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jane Monreal. Nate here to talk all about that and what you can do to make sure this doesn't happen to you. Nate, another one of these stories that you got to talk about, but you spoke to the couple, the Keels, and this case is a case of wrong measurements. Tell us about that.
Who knew that was possible? But I guess if humans are involved, we all make mistakes from time to time. And in this case, we have a couple that moved here from Wilmington several years ago, basically more than a decade ago. Both are former public servants. One's a kindergarten teacher, she used to be. The husband is a former public servant, used to work for Public Works. They moved from Wilmington to Cabarrus County because they were looking for someone close by their family, but also affordable comparatively to like Mecklenburg County when it came to tax rates back then. And this is especially important because they're on a fixed income now. And I'll tell you a little bit more in a bit, but basically the husband has some medical struggles right now. So the idea was every dollar really matters to them.
Absolutely.
They moved to this home, their perfect home, they called it. I mean, they just loved it. They spent a good almost decade there. But it was when they decided to move when they found the problem.
Okay, so they downsized. What happened when they moved? Or what happened next?
Let me tell you why they downsized to begin with. So Tom, the husband, started having some medical issues, including dementia. And so they wanted to save their money because at some point, eventually, they expect to have to pay for long-term care for him. So they downsize, they find a house they want, and in the process of selling their home, they get it appraised, and they come in. This is a private appraiser as part of the selling process, and they measure the home and notice what the actual measurements of the house are. That's not what's on the property record card in the files at the tax office. And it's not even close. I mean, it's like more than 300 square feet wrong.
Yeah.
For more than almost a decade. Think about that. So that matters when it comes to how much property tax you're paying. She kind of had this realization, we have been paying too much in property taxes.
Okay, so been happening for a long time. They realized the situation. How did they miss that for so long?
All right, so kind of here's how the process works or is supposed to work. This was a new home that they originally lived in. So when a home's under construction, the county tax office comes out. When they have access to the inside of the home, they measure it, right? While it's being built. And when it's finished, you're supposed to go through and do kind of a final inspection as well. We don't know exactly what happened in this case, but if you were inside the home when it was built, it would have been obvious that there was something off, because what they thought was living space upstairs was actually a vaulted ceiling. And if you were inside the home, you would have noticed that and you would have changed the measurements accordingly. But they had this realization and they said, well, we've been paying too much for 9 years. We need to let somebody know about it.
All right, so obviously plays into paying for tax purposes, the size of your home. Where can someone find their home square footage?
All right, this is so important. I have never looked at a property record card. I never even heard of it until maybe a month or so ago, and I'll never make that mistake again, honestly. This is something that you can search on your county tax office's website. This is not in your property tax notice that you get. It doesn't tell you the square footage or the measurement of your home they have on record. When they send you a revaluation notice every few years, when the value of your home changes, they don't list the specifics in that paperwork either. It's on you to go to their website and to search for your property, and there you will find a property record card. It's basically a map of your home. It has everything from what your walls are made of to if you have hardwood floors to the square footage. You need to review that and make sure it's accurate. And if you have questions about that, you really need to speak up because it could be impacting how much you're paying.
Wow, that is amazing. So if you do feel that the square footage is not right, you can do something.
You can, and really in Cabarrus County, where our story takes place, now is the time to do it because you have until about April 18th when this Board of Equalization Review starts to consider any appeals through the revaluation process. You have to appeal this right now if you think you've paid too much. This is the only time to get money back if you've overpaid, but let the tax office know. And there, the tax administrator told us, David Thrift, that if you think there's an issue, don't hire a private appraiser. We will come back out and measure. I mean, let's be honest, they want to get it right. Like, they're acting in good faith here. They want to get accurate measurements, and so they're happy to come back out. They don't want you to have to spend more money to try to figure that out.
All right, so back to the Keels case. The Keels tells the tax office the square footage was wrong, and was the office able to correct that?
Well, yeah, they were able to correct it because they had new measurements that they could quickly correct in the file. And there were some other things that were a bit different that had changed over time. So they corrected the tax record.
Okay.
But what they didn't do was give them any money back because this had taken so much time that the law really limits how much money you can get and when you can get it back. And in this case, since the revaluation for their home was in 2020, they didn't appeal it at that time because they were selling the house. If they had noticed it in 2012 and appealed it right then and there, they may have been able to get some money back. It basically has to be the result of a clerical error, which is different than a mistake or an incorrect estimation. That's like I plug a number wrong into a computer. That's what a clerical error is. Or it was an illegal tax to begin with. That's what the state law says you can get your money back. So they paid this money. Who knows how much they overpaid, but they overpaid something. They can't get it back.
No recourse. All right. You spoke to the Cabarrus County tax administrator, and then you talked about what he said, you know, in order to say about this mistake in this case.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's happy when this happens.
Right.
Like, you know, they didn't love the fact that it happened, and they've since had great conversations about making sure the public's aware of this. And I think that's part of why he was willing to sit down with us, because we want the public to know about this, just like he does. I mean, nobody wants to be overcharged in taxes. And so, you know, in good faith, again, he wants people to contact them if they have questions. And, I just can't stress enough that you should look up for your property record card, because that holds the key to how your tax is essentially charged to you.
Yeah, I hear it now, loud and clear. Obviously, a lesson learned the hard way from the Keels. Any other takeaways for them? Well,
they've had conversations with this tax administrator and suggested some ways to better communicate to the public, to be more accurate in the future. And, you know, this is uncommon, for sure, but it's not unheard of. In fact, yesterday, I was working on another story, and I was telling somebody about this story, and they said the same thing happened to me in Cabarrus County. A vaulted ceiling mislabeled. So this is not just one isolated case. This has happened before to other people as well. The key is catching it early so that you can do something about it and to protect your investment long term. I mean, just imagine, had they figured this out in 2011 when they bought the home and moved in, they would have never overpaid their taxes. They would have never had to overspend. In the meantime, this woman is so sweet, Jane Monreal. I mean, this has kept her up at night. For years. It's just like a pit in her stomach over the fact that, you know, she even feels a little bit of responsibility. She didn't look at her property record card, but it's just a matter of let's protect the next person and help them.
Sure, and she's doing that now. Is Cabarrus County doing anything because of this?
Well, we'll find out, I think, in the not-so-distant future. They've had conversations with the Keels. The Board of Equalization and Review is meeting, you know, in April to kind of start looking through the appeals process. I think the fact is that people are more informed now because of our reporting and because the Keels were brave enough to share their story. And they know we're watching, right? They know we're all watching. Everybody wants them to get it right, including them. And so hopefully this will raise the standard just a bit.
Absolutely. Again, thank you for shedding light on that situation.
Happy to do it.
Good lesson for all of us. And remember, we're always asking, where's the money? Because we want to level the playing field for you. You can find our previous Where's the Money stories inside the WCNC Charlotte mobile app.